This is what it means to be a neighborhood queen.
Man, I had the biggest crush on this girl. If you grew up on the West Coast, specifically Los Angeles, San Gabriel Valley, South Bay, you might remember JV. She had a hit song called Naybahood Queen, where she used samples of Boys in the Hood from Eazy-E. If you grew up on West Coast hip-hop, if you grew up on Lowriders, if you remember Thump Records, if you were a follower of Chicano rap at the time, then you've probably heard Naybahood Queen by JV. Baby girl was fly back in the day. And I've been doing everything I can to try to find her nowadays for an interview, but she has just disappeared off the map. She probably wants nothing to do with music right now. She never really became a household name across the country. I mean, her music is still played. Every once in a while, I'll hear it on the radio. I think I may have heard it once in the past year. But she carved her own lane. She became one of the earliest Mexican-American females to release a full rap album on a major independent West Coast rap label. And she helped open the door for female Chicana MCs who came after her. JV. Her real name is Her real name is Jennifer Velarde. I know that because I've been trying to find her for the past 20 years. And I don't know weird-ish. I'm just trying to interview her. I just want to interview her and get to know her story. She grew up in Downey. I went to Downey High School, even though I technically wasn't supposed to go to Downey High School because I didn't live in the area where you're supposed to go to Downey High School. I went to Downey High School. Anybody who knows Downey, it's right in the middle, LA County, 25, 30 minutes to downtown LA. Interesting town. It was interesting when I was going to school there, and even more interesting now, they call it the Mexican Beverly Hills. Nice middle-class communities. No, not really any bangers. Not too many hoods and sets. If there are, I don't even think there's any established sets in Downey. But this is where she came up. Downey, California. She loved writing. She loved hip-hop. And she developed a fast, energetic delivery that mixed confidence with a very youthful personality. And instead of trying to copy male rappers, she created her own style. That style would eventually catch the attention of one of Southern California's biggest independent labels. You may have heard of them. Thump Records. If you've never heard of Thump Records, I suggest you go down that rabbit hole. They are legendary out here on the West Coast, the lowrider scene. They became one of the most important independent labels on the West Coast in the 90s. They specialized in West Coast rap, bass music, lowrider music, freestyle. They did dance compilations. They became famous for releasing the type of music that was played everywhere. Car shows, swap meets. That's a flea market for my friends on the West Coast and down south. Lowrider cruises and neighborhood parties throughout California and the Southwest. Unlike Death Row or Ruthless, Thump Records focused heavily on regional audiences. They understood exactly what people cruising Whittier Boulevard, Van Nuys, San Diego, Phoenix, Albuquerque, El Paso, they knew exactly what they wanted to hear. And JV was right up that alley. In 1994, JV released her debut album, Naybahood Queen. The title track immediately became her signature record. The song blended West Coast bass, G-funk, catchy hook, and her having pride in being a neighborhood queen. The video captured everything people remember about the mid-90s Southern California. Such an amazing time. For anyone who didn't get to experience the 90s, what a good time. This video captured all of that. The big old oversized baggy jeans, lowrider bicycles, lowrider cars. She kind of looked like, I think this is a compliment to both, but she kind of reminded me of Selena a little bit. Very cute. She embraced being a young Chicana rapper at a time when there was almost no one on the Chicana side receiving national attention. Neighborhood Queen was big in our communities. What I mean, our community, San Gabriel Valley, Long Beach. Neighborhood Queen wasn't big, but it wasn't a Billboard hit. Neither the album nor the single entered the major Billboard charts, which amazes me talking about it to this day, because the way people were bumping that song back then, I for sure thought that it was on the Billboard charts, but no. But that doesn't mean it wasn't successful. Back then, regional success could be enormous. Neighborhood Queen became extremely popular throughout Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, especially amongst the lowrider community and Chicano rap fans. It received heavy local exposure through car shows, swap meets. Remember those independent music stores, the mom and pops, the cruising scene, local radio, those B&C towns, not necessarily the big markets, but the B&C towns, they were loving this song. This is all before streaming. And that kind of regional success meant everything to a young artist. A song could become legendary without ever appearing on Billboard. And that's exactly what happened here. It was a cultural song. Young Latina girls suddenly had someone who looked like them, who talked like them, and who represented their neighborhoods. JV proved that women can make authentic West Coast music without simply copying male rappers. She's definitely a pioneer in Chicana rap. 100%. I wish she did more interviews, man. But you know what? That keeps her mystique alive. You know what I mean? The fact that she doesn't really do interviews like that kind of keeps her mystique alive. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to run into someone who knows Jennifer Velarde, a.k.a. JV, one of my first crushes. One of the first studios I ever worked in, music studios back in the day when I was a teenager. We had JV's poster right there on the wall. And she was an inspiration to me, man, when I was in there rapping. When I was in there doing my thing. I looked at that picture and I was like, one day, I'm going to have me a fine little thing like that. Fast forward, I did marry me a sexy little Latina. There's always a thing in the back of my head to marry a fly-ass Latina, and I sure did. Nothing against any other women out there. Love them all. I love my women. Dark, white, brown, all the colors of the rainbow. But there's something about a Latina, homie. Something about a Latina. Now, after this song, she released another album called It Gets No Realer, but that song didn't do anything. The album didn't receive much promotion, which was so weird because she was coming off of this big hit. That's why I want to know what happened. What happened? How did she go from having this big regional hit to selling nothing on her next album? To no one promoting her album? Her sales were disappointing, and the momentum from her debut slowed up, and she eventually left Thump Records. She did release a couple of other projects in the early 2000s. 2001, she released Queen with the most hits, and in 2002, after adopting the name J-Bug, maybe she couldn't legally use JV, or maybe she just wanted to shed that character. I don't know. But she went by J-Bug, and she released an album called Ladybug in 2002. Like many independent artists, she discovered how difficult it is to maintain a music career without strong label support. Not only is it rough for men, it's probably, no, I'm not going to say probably, I'm not a female, but I know it's double as hard for females, probably triple as hard for females to make it in the music business, in the rap game specifically, and more specifically in the independent rap game. It is hard. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if JV has any stories like this, but there are countless of female artists out there who have experienced dirty, creepy music executives pulling them aside and say, hey, if you do a little favor for me, I'll do a little favor for you. That had to be happening. And I wonder if that happened to JV. I wonder. She was a beautiful girl. And music executives are known to be creeps. Let's keep it real. They are known to be creeps, especially back then. Shit, going even further back in the, man, that stuff was happening. That casting couch thing was happening back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 1900s. I'm talking, kids. I'm not talking like 4 years ago. It was happening way back in the day, man. Metro Goldwyn Mayer, also known as MGM. Those dudes were creeps. They was, man, I ain't even going to tell you what they do. Just go down the rabbit hole of how creepy people were back in the day. Ugh. Now you got cameras and shit, more cameras. You can pull out your phone if a dude starts creeping. But back then, you're 1995. You're at an office building in downtown LA. One camera in the front, nothing else. It was your word against theirs. And if you ever said anything, they probably would just blackball you because they were all friends. And looking in hindsight, we see what Diddy was doing. So Diddy wasn't the only one. But yeah, man, shout out to her, man. She has done, like, I saw a couple of kind of little clips of interviews from her. And in those interviews, she explained that fame was no longer her primary goal. I thought I wanted to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I want a certain level of privacy. And I feel like if you're super famous, you lose all your privacy. You give it up. And a lot of artists don't like that. Did that happen to JV? Who knows? Who knows? In those interviews, she talked about wanting to write music because she loved creating. She said she wasn't interested in chasing trends or making music just for commercial success. She described herself as a hip-hop misfit, acknowledging that fans often wanted the same youthful sound from the 90s while she had grown into a different artist with new experiences, new perspectives. She also spoke about the challenges that indie artists face without major financial backing for recording and mixing and mastering and promotion. Man, she definitely left a legacy. And I wish more people talked about her. She doesn't always receive the recognition she deserves. She wasn't a platinum selling superstar. She didn't dominate MTV. She didn't win Grammy Awards. But influence isn't measured only by chart position. Sometimes it's measured by who comes after you. Before artists like Lady Pinks, Baby Wicked, Miss Sancha, and many other female rappers, there was JV. Naybahood Queen, in my opinion, became more than just a song. It became a piece of West Coast rap history. It's still remembered by old school hip hop fans and lowrider enthusiasts and collectors of classic independent rap from the 90s. Sometimes the biggest pioneers aren't the artists with the biggest record sales. They're the ones who prove something is possible. And that's exactly what JV did. If anyone out there can connect me with JV, I will do something special for you. I can't think of anything right now, but I got you. I ain't talking like weird shit, you freaking weirdo. I'm talking, if you hook me up with JV, if you know JV out there, anybody, holla at your boy. I'd love to interview her and talk with her about her career. Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. I remember reading somewhere that Warren G was Dr. Dre's half-brother. And I remember thinking back then, as someone who obviously didn't know, I remember thinking back then, well, damn, if Dre's over at Death Row, why doesn't he put on his brother, Warren G, who is one of the dopest at that time, and in hindsight, one of the dopest to ever do it. Then I start to wonder, do they have beef? No, is Dre maybe teaching him a lesson? This is me as a hip-hop fan trying to figure it out, because we didn't have access to ChatGPT and everything you kids have access to. We had to wait till a magazine came out in a magazine article or someone did a radio interview. That's how we got our information. So I didn't know. But in my head, I'm like, obviously, I was like, maybe it went to beef. Maybe Dre was trying to teach Warren a lesson. Like, little bro, you go do your own thing. No, you go do your own thing. Go spread your wings. And maybe if you prove yourself, you can come back over here and we'll do something with you. But little did I know that allegedly, and after hearing interviews and things on the subject of why Warren G wasn't at Death Row, because you would think that would be the first place he would sign to. He's from Long Beach. He knows all the guys. But I guess the truth is, Dre didn't want him to sign to Death Row because Death Row was going through some BS back then and treating their artists like BS. And as we know in hindsight now, a lot of crazy shit was going on at the Row. People getting bodily fluids thrown on them and whooped down in the Red Room and dogs sicked on them. All that. We've heard the stories. Hung over balconies, allegedly. We've heard all the stories. So, allegedly Dre was looking out for his younger half brother. I was like, nah, bro, you don't want to come over here. It's not glitz and glamour. It's not all peaches and cream over here. You probably do not want to, join. And maybe he pushed him away in that sense. I would love to know what the conversation was as to why Warren G went over and did his thing at Def Jam and saved Def Jam, by the way. Oh, don't get it twisted. Warren G saved Def Jam Records. The West Coast saved Def Jam Records. Def Jam was so close to being done. They were done. They were done. Nothing that was coming out of Def Jam was popping. Nothing. The Run DMC era came and gone. LL Cool J came and gone. The only person popping on the East Coast for the most part was Biggie Smalls. So Def Jam's trying to figure something out. How do we stay afloat? Then someone got the bright idea. Hey, you guys, remember that music that we used to ignore? The music out of California? Yeah, the ones that we weren't playing their songs on the radio because we thought it was trash. Yeah, Snoop Dogg just sold 4 million copies. And then someone said, "What? Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Dog Pound, 2 million. Yep, Oh, yeah, Too Short. Yep, E40. Oh, yep. 1.5 million. Yeah, man. So then they got the bright idea to start signing West Coast acts. And if you remember, at one point, Def Jam was, everything that was coming out of Def Jam was West Coast. Jail Felony. I could give it to you, but what you gonna do with it? I could give it to you, but what? I'm too sexy for my motherfucking hood. Domino went over there. Ghetto Jam is about to slam with the help from the diggity day. 1, 2, 3, and this is OG. When you say you're pretty, yes. The Ghetto Jam is about to slam with some help from the diggity day. Man, Montel Jordan. Oh, yeah. Wait, what? One of the biggest songs in history, one of the biggest West Coast anthems, This Is How We Do It? Was it? Yes. Saved Def Jam Records. South Central Cartel. Saved Def Jam Records. Facts. 100%. And in hindsight, that first Warren G project where he is standing under a light pole, I do believe, looking down at the ground. I'm just visually remembering it in my head because I bumped the hell out of that tape. That's one of my favorite tapes to this day. I still say tape. It's one of my favorite projects to this day. Look at this DJ, he gets down mixing records while they go round to the hip to the hop. You just don't stop producing funky records that'll make you drop. 11, 10, 70, that was my intro. But now at 94, I'm rolling a 6-4. Man, dude, Warren G came with it, and those beats were so Long Beach. Those beats were so Long Beach. And if you're from Long Beach, you know what I'm talking about. Laid back, chill, but grimy underneath, gritty. Warren G is one of the best producers, one of my favorite producers, and one of the best to ever do it. But what if things been different if he would have signed to Suge Knight? He probably, would he be the Warren G we know? Warren G would probably agree that the best decision he made was to not sign to the Row and go do his own thing. Would he have signed with Def Jam again? I don't know. I don't know what that deal is like, but I'm just saying he went out and proved that he could do it on his own. Shout out to Warren G, Long Beach legend. Long Beach in the building, man. I love that dude's music. Keep dropping, Warren. Keep dropping, please. You're never too old to keep dropping. Just keep dropping, man, because you still got it. But what do you guys think? How would things have been different if Warren G would have signed to Def Row? Would his career have been bigger? Or would he be the Warren G that we know of today as one of the greats to ever do it? I'd love to know your thoughts. Hit it in the comment section. And please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.
The market we're going after, we're mainly for the people. I mean, for us, the West Coast, there's a lot of talent around that guys really don't have the opportunity to have a chance to prove themselves. So for as Jeff Entertainment goes with the studio and the films, we're giving all the youngsters an opportunity from all the neighborhoods where basically we haven't forgot where we came from. So we bringing all the talent back home.
I'm definitely going to do a future show on Suge Knight. He deserves a whole show in himself. He actually has a podcast right now from behind bars. Check it out. It's called The Last Call or something. I don't know. Just type in Suge Knight podcast. You'll find it on YouTube. It's pretty entertaining. I listen to it every week. He gives us behind the scenes of what he believes his truth. He gives his truth. Let's just say that. He gives his truth. But yes, Dr. Dre links up with Suge Knight. And they go half on a baby. They go half on Death Row Records. And this is my favorite time in hip-hop right here. I would say my favorite time in hip-hop started in 92, probably 92 to like 95, 96. That was my favorite time in hip hop. Such a great time. The music to me was amazing. The music was some of the best it will ever be. And this is when Dr. Dre produced some of his best music ever. I mean, the Chronic album, Snoop's album, Dog Pound, Dog Food. That album is sick. I'm going to do a future show on the Dog Pound. That's a legendary group right there. I mean, he was working on albums for Nate Dogg. Unfortunately, it didn't really come out. The Lady of Rage, that was another one that didn't come out, man. We're going to have to do a show. I know I'm going to have to do a lot of shows, but I'm going to have to do a show on all the albums that were not released on Death Row Records. How about that? All the albums that were not released on Death Row. Man. But before the Chronic, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but, after Dr. Dre left Ruthless Records, the first time we ever heard him on the comeback by himself was on Deep Cover. And that's a song he did with Snoop Dogg for the Deep Cover soundtrack. And that was the first time I'm like, okay, Dre is back, and he's not with Eazy-E. He's not with Ice Cube. He's not with Yella. This is just Dre. And it was a good song. Yeah, and you don't stop, 'cause it's 187 on a motherfucking cop. And back then I didn't even like that song, and I don't even to this day. I don't care for it to this day, to be honest. It's obviously a classic, but it's not my favorite song. In fact, I like the one that Fat Joe and Big Pun did better. They did a Twins like 98 or something like that, and I think it was way better. Dead in the middle of little did we know that we riddled two men who didn't do diddly. R.I.P. Big Pun, man. But yes, Deep Cover came out, and then he hooks up with Suge Knight to bring out the Chronic, and the Chronic had, Corrupt, Daz, RBX, the Lady of Rage, Nate Dogg, Jewel. The Who's Who. It's a classic album. I did a whole show on the Chronic album, so type in Dusty Vision Radio Chronic album, and you'll find it in my archives. Such a great album. I'm not going to get too much deeper into that album since I literally did a whole 45-minute show on it just about a month ago.
Death Row is going to be big, huge. We have the best acts coming out. Oh, not we. Look at me, like it's my label, really? This is Death Row, really. It is. But I'm on it, so it's mine too.
What I'm doing right now is I'll be putting out a solo album soon. It's called Overdose. It'll be out maybe the end of May. It's gonna be hitting.
And when's my stuff gonna be out?
Back to what I was saying. My solo album will be out in May.
Next up was Doggy Style. And I remember there was no bigger anticipation for a rap album than Doggy Style. Everyone was waiting for that Snoop album. And when I mean everyone was waiting for that Snoop album. Me included, and I bumped the hell out of it. I let the tape knock till my tape popped on the Snoop Dogg album, Doggy Style. Such a great album. I will definitely do a show in the future on Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, because man, that's a Long Beach representative right there, and Snoop is and was the epitome of Long Beach, and he represented us so well back then. Even to this day, he represents us well, but Snoop is bigger than Long Beach now. Snoop is worldwide, but back then it was so cool that we had our own rapper. Like, this is our rapper, man. He's from Long Beach. It's so cool. But yeah, so let's see. So Death Row's cracking. We all know the whole Death Row story. We don't have to go into that into detail. But let's see. Enter Tupac in 95 when he was signed by Death Row Records. He ended up collaborating with Dr. Dre on California Love. To this day, I do not like that song. I can't stand that song. The reason why I can't stand it is because when I was a kid, when it was out, they played that the whole summer. Like, every time you turn on the radio, every time there was a video on, it was California Love. And look, I'm sure I'm the minority. I'm sure, obviously, millions of people love the song, but it was never one of my favorites. But I get it. It's a club song. It's a dance. It makes you feel good. Takes you back to being, with the Zapp and Roger and all that. I get it. I get why it's a great song. It's a well-produced song. It's not one of my favorite songs whatsoever. But let's see. So yeah, Pac and Dre, you know, they do their thing. They collab. Dre produces a lot of the music for Pac's Death Row debut album, along with Daz Dillinger, who probably produced the majority of it, but didn't get the proper respects and props and credits he deserved. Daz Dillinger, that's another one I got to do a show on. There's so much show, man. I'm telling you, stick around to Dusty Vision Radio, man. Every week I'm gonna have something totally different for you because there's so much to talk about. But Daz Dillinger, man, if it wasn't for Daz, I don't know if there would be a Death Row. Bam, I said it. If there was no Daz, I don't think there would be a Death Row Records as we know it. As we know it. But this is about Dr. Dre. So yes, we all know the story. Dr. Dre, they're beefing with Ruthless Records. They're going back and forth. You know, Dre is, ends up falling out with Suge Knight. Things just get rough at the Death Row Studios. Pistols are being pulled out. A lot of gang stuff going on. And Dre is just not feeling the vibes. He's like, I got to get out of here. So he decides to bounce. Dre is out, and according to most accounts, he left with nothing. He left with nothing but a peace of mind. Now, once again, the Straight Outta Compton movie, they got to get all dramatic. I don't think it happened the way it happened in the Straight Outta Compton movie, where Dre like turns around all dramatic and be like, aftermath, and was like fucking goes into the smoke and
I'm starting my own thing. You can't put a price on peace of mind. I'm out.
I got all this nigga's money. I got everything. Get the fuck out. Go. So what you gonna call that bullshit?
Aftermath.
Oh, once again, if you believe that movie word for word, fact for fact, I'm sorry. You got to come check us out on NWA Stories with Lonzo, because we are the real Straight Outta Compton. We will give you the real. All right? NWA Stories with Lonzo on YouTube if you want that real stuff and not that Hollywood stuff. But Dre ends up parting ways. Tupac ends up dissing him on tracks, on several tracks. Tupac was calling him, saying he was part of the LGBT community, saying, words that I'm not going to say on my YouTube channel, claiming that Dre was doing things, behind the scenes with other men and all that. Who knows if that's real, or who knows if that was just Pac being upset and Pac being Pac. But Dre leaves and he starts Aftermath. Notice Dre has had several reincarnations of it. He started with World Class Wrecking Crew, did amazing things there. Went over to Ruthless Records, did amazing things there. Went over to Death Row Records, did even more amazing things there.
So I was just looking through my news feed on my tablet, and I've seen like the Kansas City story so many times, man. And it's just, the more information that comes out, the more it's just making me shake my head like, no, wow. To see two young lives that are going to end up in prison for a very, very long time. And then the DJ who was killed, losing her life.
Man.
And then 20 plus victims, and most of them children. It just, the gun violence is out of control. And I don't know what we can do about it. It's just, it makes my heart ache to read these stories and see these stories on the news.
Yeah, it's a sad situation. And this is coming from someone yourself who grew up in the late 80s, 90s. Of course, it was really bad. It was really bad. But it didn't seem like there was this type of bad, if that makes sense, where just 22 innocent people get shot. Is this safe to say that? I may be speaking out of turn. Please, let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was it? Was it comparable to the 80s and 90s? Is it worse? Not as worse? What or different type of worse? What do you think?
I mean, the difference is the mass shootings, the number of people getting shot and killed in one incident. I don't remember it being like that when I was a kid growing up, and even when I was involved in a criminal and gang lifestyle. 40 people getting shot at once and killed, and 30 people, 20 people, and then in the suburbs, most of the gun violence that I experienced was concentrated in South LA and parts of Long Beach and Compton, and it was in the hood. Now it's in the suburbs. It's in your Walmart. It's in your Target. It's at your Super Bowl rally. Like I don't remember seeing that when I was a kid. And it's like back then, I knew multiple people, numerous people who had been shot multiple times. You know what I mean? Some shot 4, 5, 6 times in one incident, and then others who were shot, 3, 4, 5, 6 times over their lifetime, in different incidents and survived. People now, it seems like they're getting shot with such high-powered artillery and ammunition that they're not surviving. As a young person growing up in South Central LA and throughout the LA area, I mean, I remember seeing people get popped, several times in one incident or several times over the course of their lifetime and living through it, living to tell about it. Now I'm not seeing that. It's like people get hit once, twice, and they're no longer here. It's like what is out there in the streets? What are in the hands of these young people that's just, leaving people mowed down like this? I mean, is making me scratch my head like, wow,
Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E released a project, and it had the streets humming, so much so it has done something that no other rap album has been able to do since, and it was selling millions and millions and millions with no airplay, no radio play. And the one song that propelled them, that pushed them over the top, that had the world talking, was F the Police.
I know for a fact what happened. They got hit up on the freeway.
Oh, okay.
That story is in my audio book. Okay? The story of Fuck the Police, what I know, I think it's like chapter 5 or 6, maybe a little bit deeper, I'm not sure. They got jammed by the police on the freeway for shooting paintballs, and they almost got killed. Okay? They almost got killed on the freeway, and if it had been today, they'd have been dead. Okay? And they all came back to my studio shaking and crying because the police almost killed their asses.
F the police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad cause I'm brown. Not the other color, so police think they have the authority to kill a minority. Not me, cause I ain't the one for a punk motherfucker with a badge and a gun. I mean, these were lyrics. Take yourself back to the 80s. Nobody was saying stuff like this. No one was talking about F the police at this time. And boy, did this get them into a lot of trouble. They got into a lot of trouble with police forces all over the country. They even got a letter from the FBI. A rap group got a letter from the FBI.
It's like when we wrote the song F the Police, it's the stuff that we've been through before and that everybody around us been through. People been going through for years, but we was, everybody else was scared to put it on record. So we put it on record and said it how we wanted to say it, and everybody didn't pay attention to it till Holiday caught this Rodney King beating on tape. Then everybody's going, oh, that's why they did this song, F the Police, because everybody's putting us down for doing the song. The FBI was sending us letters, and, police was harassing us. Oh, so you the ones that did the song, F the Police. I ought to beat you a little, stuff like that. Now, since all this happened, everybody really paying attention to it now. Banning us from all the venues. We couldn't even go out on the road, you know, because for the song and other reasons, they think we was going to, you know, cause a lot of trouble, but it's all bull, you know.
I don't know how true the scene in Straight Outta Compton was, where they were in Detroit and the police backstage told them not to play the song or they were going to get arrested. I know that Straight Outta Compton movie, if you're taking that fact for fact, then you know nothing about NWA, because that movie has so many holes and lies in it. But that being said, they were pressured not to play the song at certain venues in fear of being arrested.
Y'all know what the motherfucking police trying to tell us backstage? They try to tell us what the fuck we can't play. Motherfuckers trying to tell us what the fuck we can't say.
Could you imagine being arrested for a song back in the day? And this is a rap group. Now, NWA, along with groups like 2 Live Crew, who are popping around this time as well, they were the reason you see the little parental advisory sign, that sticker. Remember when you used to buy CDs and things like that, and on the bottom you see the parental advisory sticker? You can't buy it unless you're over 18 or something along those lines. Or parents, be warned, if you buy this, your kids are going to grow up to be Democrats. Like, I don't know, like, you know, if it was really used before this, but I know they slapped that sticker on every single CD and tape. Let's go back to tapes, because CDs weren't even popping back in the 80s and early 90s. But yes, they put this on every tape to let parents know, hey parents, this has some crazy language. And I remember hearing it like it was yesterday, the first time it is hearing NWA, Dr. Dre, and they're saying things that, oh my God, how are they getting away with this? And we would have to turn the volume down so our parents or my friend's parents couldn't hear the music that was pumping out. I'd walk around the house with my Walkman, no one knowing what I was listening to. Just F the Police coming straight from the underground. A young nigga got it bad because I'm brown. So many people felt that song. So many people felt that song. At this time, blacks were getting their asses whizzed by the police. Once again, going back to Straight Outta Compton, I don't know how true that particular scene is as well, but they were in Torrance, and the police approached them, and it was all a big hubbub, and they were thrown on the ground, and then Jerry Heller, the white savior, comes out and saves them. And then they go in the studio and they release F the Police straight after that. I don't know how true that was. I'm sure each and every one of them, probably as being young black men in the 80s, were messed with by police, as most of us were.
You can't come down here and arrest people just because of what they look like. Are you crazy? But that's police harassment.
You said you were a manager, right?
Yeah.
Not a fucking lawyer.
Does that matter? You cannot come down here and harass these guys because they're black. People have rights.
Step back.
Right,
Step
fine.
back.
I'll step back. You let them up. Get up, guys. Come on, Eric.
You don't tell them
Get
to
up.
get up.
I'm stepping
We
back.
will decide
You
that.
have no idea. The people I know. I'm going to call the mayor's office.
Step back.
But I don't know how true that scene was. But it doesn't take away from the fact that that is an amazing song. And back then, millions of black kids and Hispanic kids across the country, they were feeling it. They were understanding this song. So much so, man, that the cops were pulling up the stoplights, and the car next to them would be bumping F the Police.
They didn't like the song, and the promoter that we were doing the shows for said, yo, we'll put you on tour, but you can't perform that song. Cops everywhere, they ready to shut you down. So we agreed to that until we got mad at the promoter. We was like, tonight, we gonna do that song. We gonna tear this thing up.
See, the thing about Dr. Dre is his story is amazing. It has so many legs to it. I could be here for 5 hours just doing a Dr. Dre story. So I'm just going to talk about Dr. Dre overall from what I remember and what I've talked to with Alonzo Williams on our show about. By the way, speaking of that, You can check out our show every single Tuesday if you want to hear it live, 6 p.m. Pacific, on the YouTube channel NWA Stories with Lonzo. NWA Stories with Lonzo. Lonzo is the godfather of West Coast hip hop. He is the reason Dr. Dre got his start. He is the reason Eazy-E got his foot in the door. Ice Cube. I mean, he is the reason NWA is and was and is going to be forever a major group in hip hop history. Not just hip hop, but music, period. And each group member has branched off and just continued to do their damn thing. R.I.P. to Eazy-E. But check out NWA Stories with Lonzo. Go over there, subscribe to that YouTube channel if you enjoy West Coast hip hop and you want the real story of West Coast hip hop, because there's a lot of lies out there. But Alonzo Williams was the man that was planting the seeds, that planted the seeds that produced the trees that we see right now, 35, 40, 45 years later. NWA Stories with Lonzo. Now, like I was saying before, I wanted to get that out of there real quick. Dre's story has so many legs. I mean, there's so many different parts to his story. I mean, the ruthless beef. I mean, the situation with D Barnes, where he, smacked her up. Unfortunately, the D Barnes, the host of Pump It Up, that was some punk shit. And there's so many stories, and I'm going to cover them on future episodes of Dusty Vision Radio. Don't get me wrong, this is only once a week that I do this, but I will cover those in the near future. We will get a little bit deeper into Dr. Dre's story. But this is just an overall view of what I remember from Dr. Dre and what Alonzo Williams has shared with me as well. But all right, so yes, we had F the Police. Huge song. Led to a lot of controversy and a lot of free press. Eazy-E was invited to the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Wright was invited to the White House by mistake. It was all a mistake. So Eazy lives in Calabasas at this time. And when you hear the name Eric Wright, you ain't thinking some little 5'5" gangster from Compton. You're thinking it's going to be a white guy. So he was invited to the White House. And what publicity, what free, that was $1 million publicity right there. $1 million publicity right there. But this is all the doings of Dr. Dre's production. I mean, his production was beautiful back then. He was producing Eazy-E, all of Eazy-E's records. He was producing Michelle A. That's a whole other story. We're going to cover the Michelle A and Dr. Dre story and the Suge Knight web entanglement in the near future as well. But he did the DOC's album, one of the dopest albums ever, right? Like one of the dopest albums, hip-hop albums ever. He produced JJ Fad's debut album with the song Supersonic. I said the supersonic motivated rhymes I created. Yeah, that was it. I just saw them perform a couple of years ago in Long Beach at the convention center in front of 20,000 people, JJ Fad, and they rocked the house. They rocked it. They killed it. It was so good to see them on stage. Those fine asses. Fine ashes. I always had a little crush on JJ Fad back in the day. But let's see. Dre's time at Ruthless came to an end. Dre didn't like the direction things were going in. He didn't like the fact that he was producing all of these great rap albums and songs, and he's looking at his bank account and he's not seeing what he thinks he should be seeing. So he ended up leaving Ruthless. He parted ties with Eazy-E, and he ends up going to Death Row Records. And this is where he links up with the infamous Suge Knight. I'm sorry, but I don't feel bad for C-Mac. And you shouldn't either. This is what C-Mac wanted. C-Mac is a gangbanger. An active gangbanger. A proud gangbanger. What happens to gangbangers? They go to jail. They go to prison. When C-Mac was released not too long ago, I did a video on him. And in that video, I said, if C-Mac doesn't change certain things about himself, he'll be locked back up within a year. Damn it, I was right. Ironically, the title of that video I did for C-Mac a year ago was titled, I Feel Bad for C-Mac. As you can tell by the title of this video, my thoughts have changed on him. I no longer feel bad for C-Mac. But Dusty Vision, he's a changed nickel. He gives money five the homeless. I don't care if he gives money five the homeless. That doesn't excuse everything else he does or promotes in his gangbanging lifestyle. You know how many killers I knew back in the day who would shoot you on a Saturday, then go to church and pray about it on Sunday? Just because you give five the homeless don't mean shit. Sorry. So the word is C-Mac is facing up to 15 years. I don't wish prison on anyone, but if you glorify a certain lifestyle that will ultimately lead to prison, why should I or you listening right now feel sorry for a person like that? Kids, prison is part of gang life. Stop glorifying people like C-Mac or you too will find yourself in a similar situation. So allegedly back in September, he was caught with a ghost gun. And I do believe that gun had a switch on it. For anyone who doesn't know what a switch is, it is an addition that people illegally add to their weapons to turn it from a regular weapon to an automatic weapon. Super illegal. And just having that switch and or ghost gun is a whole other mandatory charge. C-Mac knew this when he obtained that weapon. People around him knew that about the weapon, but he nor anyone else around him seemed to care. My thing is, if C-Mac is allegedly, according to him, making $1,000 a day, why on earth does he not have legal armed security around him? He can afford it. Why does C-Mac, one of the most, if not the most famous person on YouTube right now, why is he packing illegal Billy Westerns? Why does he not have someone who is trained who can legally carry around him at all times? Makes no sense. Once again, I'm supposed to feel sorry for a man who can afford top-notch security but chooses to purchase an illegal ghost gun? Yeah, you can miss me with that. See, y'all out there, especially this new generation, y'all be feeling sorry for the wrong shit. Y'all see exactly what I see. Y'all see everything C-Mac does. Y'all see everything C-Mac says. Y'all see everything C-Mac represents. And you still feel sorry for him right now? The one thing I do feel bad about is C-Mac's obvious mental issues that no one around him seems to care about or want to treat. That is about the only thing I feel sad about. Oh, that and the fact that everyone around him, including Adam22, take advantage of him. I'm sure Adam will send C-Mac a few bucks here and there while he's locked up, but it won't compare to the tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars Adam has or will make off of C-Mac's content. China Mac seems to be, to me, the only guy around him who legit cares about C-Mac and his future. I hope C-Mac gets out sooner than later. And I hope one day he chooses to change his life. He is a very talented, funny, entertaining dude who can offer so much more to the world than what he's given now. I'm still rooting for him, but I don't feel sorry for his current situation. And you shouldn't either. This is what he wanted. He's a gangbanger. And he will tell you himself, he loves being a gangbanger.
It's gonna be all right, bro. Just hit me with everything. Yeah,
If you mind sticking around, could you take his like wallet, phone, anything like that? Yeah. Because we're gonna take him to the marshals. He's not allowed to have any property there at all. So
down the street.
I appreciate
On
it.
First Street, and then you're gonna go see a judge today, and they're gonna more than
They'll let me out today?
more than likely. That's what
So
I've
they're trying to switch it to a federal case?
Yes.
I was going to LA County Jail.
No.
That's in my head.
You know the time of the hearing. I got one more hearing. Yes, he has a hearing. How would I know?
So they're trying to switch it to a federal case and they can let me go from there?
Yes, sir. I'll come back at 1 p.m. All right. So if you could just text me, maybe you got.
That's just
Don't worry about it, bro. You're gonna be good.
They're gonna switch it over.
You're gonna be alright, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't panic, bro.
What's going on with the probation officer?
You got court today. I'm see you at 1. See you at 1, bro. I'll be there. All right. Yeah, it's just kind of this similar setup as here. It's like the courthouse. You can just kind of hang away. Yeah. Like arraigned over there, see a judge. And just federal. Yeah, exactly. But it kind of works just like this. So he'll probably get arraigned and most likely, since it's nothing crazy violent, they'll probably keep on it. My knees tell me no. See what I want, bro. Don't worry about it. If they give you a van, we're gonna get you out today. All right? Remember my number, right? You got my number memorized, bro?
I got it in my pocket.
See you later, bro.
I know your story is, man, if I could have been a fly on the wall like you guys, back then and seeing who you guys were linking with, this whole lab cab thing, I wish they found those tapes, but that could be some gold right there, man, of
right.
EMC.
I wonder, you know who could, yeah, Romai probably got all that stuff. I know Romai and the Far Side, they've been doing their separate things where Fat Lip Trey, Fat Lip Trey and Imani been on the road, and Romai separated himself for whatever reason. I guess they internal things. But I remember I think it was Romai's crib. And he started doing a lot of stuff separately with different acts and shit, producing and whatnot. So I'm sure them lost files are somewhere, man. I'm sure that would be dope to find, right?
Yeah, for real, dude.
But we've all recorded like Echo Sound. I don't know if you ever heard of Echo Sound, but
of course,
Echo Sound was in Glendale. Yeah, Echo was like, man, notorious for just hip hop, bro. When we was in there, when we mixed our album, fucking Eric B was there. We were mixing them down the final. We were mixing down the final. What was it, the outro? So we were kind of like freestyling. If you listen to the album on another level, our only debut album, at the end, the last song, Eric B was in the studio. Rakim wasn't there, but Eric B was there. But still, at that time, it was like, that's motherfucking Eric B. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were still fans of hip hop, even though we were in it. And I think back then, though, cats pride, we was a little more prideful, right? Because we was trying to not compete, but we thought we was the next niggas. So we was like, you know, that's Eric B. What up, y'all? This West Coast. And we gave him his props for the show, but still a little nervous, like, damn, that's motherfucking Eric B. is on deck. So once we got comfortable with Laylaw and Cube, it took a while to get comfortable with that. Even though my pops was homeboys with was homeboys with Suave and different people, and Tone Loc and my dad were close, and that's actually how we got our